no.
Mr. Rees, can you tell me about the groups and how they've done in this process?
Okay, we'll go one at a time. Master Chef Joe Barrett took the helm, or the wooden spoon, in the kitchen for the Lovebirds. This task was right up his street. He barked out orders to the rest of his team. Not sure he was always right though. Joe chose to ignore the recipe requiring 4 eggs. He was oblivious to Morgan sneaking in the extra egg mix while he wasn't looking. The bun seemed to rise beautifully though, maybe a lesson that too many cooks don't always spoil the broth. Back at HQ, it was Rhys Burns that came up with a unique packaging design and the ladies that added that feminine Valentine's touch. All in all, a great team effort. The Valentine's Cake Company had a more turbulent journey with some real high points and departure from the team. One member found himself, one less job for you, Mr. Williams. They came up with an original idea of colouring their cake mixture with red food colouring and using a mini loaf case. They excelled themselves in the kitchen, with Cameron proving to be a dab hand with an electric mixer. The Doves of Love worked on the principle of quantity rather than quality. When it came to baking, they perhaps needed to have a bit more consistency in the sizing of their product. Hannah and Rebecca seemed to really drive things forward in this team. They were the instigators and spent a lot of time making sure the packaging and their portfolio looked professional, while Sam sought to develop his own mathematical skills. I think he was feeling a bit henpecked by it all, but a great initiative. The 2 girls really went above and beyond what was expected, choosing to work outside normal office hours to get the job done. The lack of teamwork at times might be detrimental to the overall success of this team. Time will tell.
The Doves of Love.
The Doves of Love.
Right.
Not the best name,
No.
is it?
No.
This is even worse. The Sweethearts are an eclectic team. They arrived in the kitchen minus their muffin recipe and instructions, which didn't bowl well. No idea how they managed to make their muffins rise so nicely or look so appealing. Maybe it was the extra 50 grams of chocolate chips that went into the mixture. In maths, following a formula correctly is vital, but when baking, you can sometimes afford to throw the rule book out, as well as the real book out. Katie seemed to be the clear team leader at the start of the project, but it was Kyle and James that held it together in the end. The names get better.
Right.
The Sugar Mummies have been up for this. The Sugar Mummies have been up for this challenge from the moment you reveal what they were doing. With Shabana getting increasingly excited at the prospect of baking, it was always going to be a challenge to keep her feet on the ground. Zoe and Shabana took the lead in the kitchen, whilst Kelsey and Mariah were the brains behind the advertising and packaging. The girls have worked well as a team. We hope they get the deserved outcomes.
I hope they're just girls in that team with a name like the Sugar
The Sugar
Mummies.
Mummies, yeah, I'm pretty sure they are. The Unbakables journey has been a bit of a roller coaster. Packaging ideas have come and gone, with Aston 3 times making a box with at least one side missing. Typical Aston.
Yeah.
The boys were very hygienic in the kitchen, however, with Josh insisting Liam washed his hands every 5 minutes. Their brownies, however, left a lot to be desired. Only time will tell if the boys can turn their problems around and produce a product worth selling. The team with no name have been a very solid duo.
That's original, then.
It is. With only Georgie and Kelsey in the partnership. They have been disadvantaged from day one. They produced some excellent baking, however, although the amount of time spent waiting for the biscuits to bake nearly sent Georgie over the edge. The packaging looks great, and if Moaning could win this competition, they'd win hands down. Georgie's always good at that. Not convinced that Eat My Muffin had the most appropriate or even marketable company name.
No.
No. With Hayden working with 3 girls, goodness knows how he's got to the end of the process unharmed, or causing harm to others. With Sarah and Kirsty directing the orders from the sidelines, they've come up with a very solid product. Not sure how their muffins turned out, okay, but by some miracle they did. A solid marketing campaign could lead to some very good results. A piece of cake had been focused on producing a quality product from day dot, with ideas flying around before you had even finished introducing the task. The girls have had a steady ride through this process, with Lauren and Beth baking and Molly and Abby taking the helm in the box department. A lot of work outside of school has taken place with this team. Just hope all the figures add up and a substantial profit is made. Cupid Tarts have gone for a different product to everyone else by deciding to create Bakewell tarts. The baking process was amongst the most successful of all groups, with Anne-Marie and Jessica leading the way. Caitlin and Sophie were in the classroom creating some very sweet boxes for the tarts to sit in. This group have worked well together and should come home with some very tasty profits to show for their hard work.
Bakewell tarts for Valentine's.
Bakewell tarts for Valentine's.
Okay.
The Egberts have been pretty much a one-woman team, with Lindsay clearly the team leader. She's baked, produced ideas for boxes, and kept the lads in check. Daniel and Max did manage to produce some boxes for their product, but all credit must go to Lindsay. Hope their product sells well and she's rewarded.
Not very much teamwork then in that one.
Not a lot of teamwork at all there.
Okay.
No.